Welcome to Farewell to Legends. I'm Anthony. Today, we take a moment to say goodbye to those unforgettable souls who gave so much to the world. Their passion, hard work, and presence touched countless lives. Though they are no longer with us, their legacy remains, living on through memories that time can never take away. Reggae icon Bob Marley died at the age of 36. The most celebrated musician in the history of Jamaican music. He brought reggae to a worldwide audience through anthems like No Woman No Cry, Redemption Song, and One Love. Actor and filmmaker Dennis Hopper was born 90 years ago this week. He co-wrote and directed the countercultural landmark Easy Rider in 1969 and earned an Academy Award nomination for his comeback performance in Hoovers. He died in 2010 at the age of 74. Journalist Lloyd Robertson died. Music, August 4, 2026, at the age of 92. After spending years with the CBC, he was the anchor or co-anchor for Canada's CTV National News for 35 years, becoming a widely trusted figure as he covered stories of national and international importance. Robertson is being remembered for setting a record as the longest-tenured national network news anchor in North America. Actor Hal Williams died July 15, 2026, at his home in Rancho Mirage, California. He died of natural causes at the age of 91. He was one of the stars of 227, playing Lester Music Jenkins, husband to Mara Gibbs' character. Williams is also being remembered for playing Officer Smitty on Sanford and Son, as well as for music roles in Private Benjamin, The Sinbad Show, and many more. Music. Jockey Robbie Alvarado died in August 2026 in Saratoga Springs, New York. Music. He died at the age of 52 after recent heart surgery. He won thousands of races in a career that lasted more than 30 years, including 1,192 wins at Churchill Downs, the fourth most in the celebrated track's history. Music. Alvarado is being remembered for riding Curlin to victory at a number of races, including the 2007 PNI Stakes. Before Vin Diesel became the face of speed, loyalty, and Hollywood power, there was only Mark Sinclair, a boy growing up with questions that had no answers. Born in California in 1967 and raised primarily in New York, he entered life without his biological father present, leaving a blank space in his identity that would follow him for decades. His mother, Delora Shirlene Vincent, raised him while working in astrology and acting, doing whatever was necessary to keep the family moving forward. Later, Irving H. Vincent, a Harlem theater teacher, became the father figure who helped shape his childhood. Their family lived in New York's West Beth Artists Housing, surrounded by struggling performers and artists whose dreams often collided with poverty. The environment was difficult, but it also introduced Mark to imagination. At 7, after entering a Greenwich Village theater with other children, he was caught by director Crystal Field. Instead of calling the police, she offered him a chance to perform on stage. That unexpected decision changed the direction of his life. Acting became more than entertainment. It became a place where uncertainty could be controlled, where a boy searching for identity could temporarily become someone else. Long before Hollywood knew his name, the stage gave Mark something his childhood had rarely offered, a sense that he might belong somewhere, streets that hardened him. As Mark grew older, the struggle became more direct. He attended Hunter College to study literature, but financial reality eventually became louder than the classroom. He entered adulthood carrying ambition without money, talent without connections, and an identity Hollywood seemed unwilling to categorize. New York offered few guarantees. To survive, he worked as a nightclub bouncer, spending long nights inside some of Manhattan's most notorious clubs. The work was physical, exhausting, and sometimes dangerous. Violence was part of the environment, and the young actor learned to absorb exhaustion without allowing it to control him. Every night behind those doors taught him something about endurance. He was protecting entrances to places where he himself had never been invited. Auditions brought another form of rejection. His appearance and mixed background made casting executives uncertain about where he belonged. He was repeatedly confronted by an industry that struggled to define him, and instead of waiting indefinitely for permission, he began creating opportunities himself. That decision became the foundation of everything that followed. The hardship did not disappear, but it created discipline. He learned that survival required consistency when motivation disappeared. He learned to keep working when nobody was watching. Most importantly, he learned that rejection could either become a permanent identity or become fuel. For Mark Sinclair, it became fuel. Every closed door pushed him closer to the realization that if Hollywood refused to make space for him, he would have to build that space himself. Building his own door. With only about $3,000 borrowed from friends, Mark took a gamble that could easily have ended in failure. Instead of waiting for another casting opportunity, he wrote, directed, acted in, and helped create a short film based on the experiences of an actor struggling to find acceptance. The film, multifacial, reflected the uncertainty he knew personally, being viewed as too ambiguous for certain roles and never fitting neatly into the categories Hollywood expected. It was made with almost no resources, but it carried something money could not buy. It carried authenticity. Mark had transformed his own frustration into a story. In 1995, the film reached the Cannes Film Festival, giving him an opportunity to be seen not as an unknown actor begging for a chance, but as a filmmaker capable of creating one. The short eventually caught the attention of Steven Spielberg, who cast him in Saving Private Ryan. Suddenly, the young man who had spent years fighting to be noticed was standing on a major Hollywood production alongside Tom Hanks. That role changed his trajectory, yet the deeper transformation had already happened. Mark had learned that waiting for opportunity was dangerous when opportunity might never arrive. His answer was creation. He had taken the rejection that once made him feel invisible and turned it into proof that he could control at least part of his own destiny. Hollywood had not discovered Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel had first learned how to discover himself. The price of brotherhood. The Fast and Furious franchise eventually became one of Hollywood's biggest film series, but its success carried an emotional cost that no box office number could erase. In 2013, tragedy struck when Paul Walker died in a car accident while the production of Furious 7 was still underway. Walker had not simply been a co-star. To Diesel, he was family. The loss devastated him and left the production suspended in uncertainty. Continuing the movie became emotionally difficult, yet abandoning it felt impossible. Diesel returned to work carrying grief into every scene. The final film became something larger than another action sequel. It became a farewell. When Furious 7 reached theaters in 2015, it became a massive worldwide success, eventually earning more than $150 billion. Audiences saw spectacular cars, explosions, and a final emotional tribute. Behind those images, however, was a man confronting the permanent absence of someone he had expected to grow old alongside. The success could not make the loss smaller. If anything, the enormous public celebration made the private grief more complicated. Diesel had built his career around the idea that family survives every challenge. Now he was experiencing the cruelest contradiction. Sometimes loyalty means continuing, even when the person you are continuing for can no longer stand beside you. His decision to finish the film became one of the clearest expressions of the principle that had carried him through every earlier chapter. Keep moving, even when moving hurts. Love, beyond the cameras. Behind the machinery of Hollywood, Diesel's personal life followed a quieter and more complicated path. During the early years of The Fast and the Furious, he developed a relationship with Michelle Rodriguez, his co-star in the franchise. Their connection existed in an environment built around cameras, speed, travel, and intense schedules, making privacy difficult to protect. Whatever the relationship meant to them privately, it eventually ended, leaving behind memories of a period when both were still becoming the stars audiences would later recognize. Diesel has often been careful about his personal history, rarely turning private relationships into public entertainment. Another significant relationship followed with Czech model Pavla Harbova. Their time together represented something different from the Hollywood world surrounding him. There was a desire for ordinary life, for mornings and routines that existed beyond premieres and headlines. Yet their lives moved in different directions. Diesel's career demanded visibility, while she preferred distance from that world. The relationship eventually ended quietly. There was no spectacular public collapse, only the realization that love cannot always survive when two people need completely different lives. Those experiences reinforced a lesson that fame had already begun teaching him. Success can bring almost everything except control over another person's heart. A career can be managed, a franchise can be rebuilt, a film can be rewritten. But relationships require something far more fragile. Two people choosing the same future at the same time. Finding family again. By the late 2000s, Diesel had become one of Hollywood's most recognizable action stars, yet another transformation was beginning away from the cameras. In 2007, he entered a relationship with Mexican model Paloma Jimenez. Their connection eventually developed into a long-term family life, something that gave Diesel a different reason to slow down. After years of living according to production schedules, box office expectations, and the demands of global fame, family offered a quieter definition of success. The contrast was significant. The boy who had grown up without knowing his biological father had spent much of his adult life thinking deeply about identity and belonging. Now he was building the kind of family environment he had once lacked. Fatherhood changed the meaning of responsibility. Every decision no longer concerned only his career. There were children watching, growing, and forming their own memories of him. That responsibility became part of the image of Diesel as a man obsessed with family, but beneath the public speeches was something more personal. His childhood had taught him what absence felt like. His adulthood gave him the opportunity to choose presence. He could not rewrite the past, but he could influence the future of the family he was creating. That became one of the most meaningful transformations in his story. The man once defined by survival was gradually becoming defined by what he could protect, nurture, and leave behind. The machine keeps moving. The extraordinary part of Diesel's career is not simply how successful he became, but how many times the path could have ended. The unknown actor could have remained unknown. The nightclub bouncer could have stayed trapped in survival. Multifacial could have disappeared without anyone noticing. The failure of the Chronicles of Riddick could have weakened his confidence permanently. Paul Walker's death could have made continuing the franchise emotionally unbearable. Yet each time something threatened to stop him, Diesel found another reason to move. His public image has therefore become inseparable from endurance. He is often associated with enormous engines, impossible missions, physical strength, and characters who refuse to surrender. But the real story is quieter. His strength was developed before the action movies ever existed. It came from poverty, rejection, physical work, uncertainty, and the constant pressure of proving that he belonged. Even his most successful years have carried reminders that fame does not make a person invulnerable. Bodies age, relationships change, friends disappear, ambition can become exhausting. Success can create a different kind of loneliness. Yet Diesel continues to operate according to the same basic principle that guided him as a young man: forward motion. He may have changed the scale of his dreams, but not the discipline required to pursue them. The machine became bigger, but the engine remained the same: work, loyalty, resilience, and an almost stubborn refusal to stop. Scars behind the strength. At 58, the image of Vin Diesel as an unstoppable action hero carries an irony that becomes clearer with age. The characters he plays can walk away from explosions, survive impossible fights, and return for another mission as if pain were temporary. Real life offers no such guarantee. The human body keeps its own record. Grief leaves another kind of scar. Rejection can shape the way a person sees himself long after the applause arrives. The absence of his biological father remained part of his story even after he became globally famous. The years spent fighting for survival could not simply be erased by wealth. The death of Paul Walker created an absence that no sequel could truly fill. Relationships that once offered hope eventually became memories, and the demands of maintaining a global franchise brought their own pressure. Yet, these experiences are precisely what make his story more compelling than the image of an indestructible action hero. Strength was never the absence of damage. Strength was learning how to function despite it. Diesel's career demonstrates how resilience can become both a gift and a burden. The same discipline that helped him escape poverty also helped him continue through grief and professional setbacks. But relentless endurance can make stopping feel dangerous, even when rest is necessary. Beneath the muscles, the voice, and the cinematic mythology is a man who has spent most of his life refusing to surrender to circumstances. The secret behind the legend. There is also something deliberately guarded about Diesel's public identity. He has spent decades revealing selected pieces of his past while protecting other parts from the machinery of celebrity. His biological father's identity and the questions surrounding his ancestry have remained subjects he has discussed cautiously. His relationships have largely been kept away from the spectacle that surrounds Hollywood stars. Even his greatest losses have often been expressed through carefully chosen words rather than unrestricted exposure. That privacy may be one of the few forms of control available to someone whose face is recognized around the world. The public knows Vin Diesel, the actor, producer, action star, franchise leader, and voice behind iconic characters. But Mark Sinclair belongs to a different world. The child who grew up in an artist's community, the teenager who fought to survive, the young man who stood outside casting rooms, wondering why nobody could see where he belonged. That distinction matters. Vin Diesel is the identity created for the world. Mark Sinclair is the person who had to survive before the world was watching. Perhaps that is why his career has remained so closely connected to themes of family and belonging. His films repeatedly return to people who become stronger by choosing one another. That idea is not merely a marketing formula. It reflects a life shaped by absence, uncertainty, and the search for a place where identity is not questioned. The strongest part of his story may therefore be the part he has always kept most protected. Still, on the road. The story of Vin Diesel is ultimately not about becoming invincible. It is about discovering that nobody is. The boy without a father became a man who built his own definition of family. The young actor who could not find a place in Hollywood created opportunities with borrowed money and a second-hand camera. The nightclub bouncer became the face of billion-dollar franchises. The performer who once stood outside closed doors eventually became someone capable of deciding which doors opened for others. But none of those achievements erased the road behind him. Poverty remained part of his history. Rejection remained part of his memory. Loss became part of his identity. And the older he becomes, the clearer it is that the greatest victory was never simply fame. It was survival without surrendering the values that carried him there. Vin Diesel's legend was built on speed, but his life was built on endurance. It was built in cold apartments, brutal workplaces, empty auditions, uncertain nights, and moments when giving up would have been easier than continuing. Hollywood eventually gave him everything the young Mark Sinclair once lacked: money, recognition, influence, and a global audience. Yet the core of the man remained connected to that child who learned very early that nobody was coming to rescue him. He would have to stand up himself. And perhaps that is the truth behind the machine. Even when the body becomes tired, even when the heart carries scars, the road continues. And Vin Diesel, after everything he has lost and everything he has built,